from, I believe he's from California, maybe Texas. Texas. Thank you, Nate. Joe Barton, who his, I was going to say ex-girlfriend, but I think I'm not sure that, I don't know how consensual it was, because she said, quote, Barton took it a step too far on rare occasions. He was very fascinated with my attire to the point of being inappropriate. Okay, that's enough about my attire. Good night, for example, was one of his, and then one of her tweets, or one of her text messages to him. And then he replied, answer me, Miss Evasive. Yeah, he has decided not to run. So Republican goes down. Dick Durbin has come out. This is, by the way, I'm quoting by and large here from Daily Kos. Dick Durbin has come out and said, if DACA is not part of the budget, this is the big, next week, it's going to be shut down the government time or pass a budget time, right? And there's enough crazy Republicans, Tea Party Republicans who are big believers in the Koch principles, the Koch brothers' principles. There's enough of those Republicans that they're going to probably need some Democrats to pass a budget. And if the Democrats say, we're not going to play, you're going to have a problem. And the Republicans are going to try and blame it on the Democrats, but the Democrats are just doing crazy stuff. This, for example, this is the platform, the party platform that David Koch ran for President of the United States on in 1980, or Vice President, excuse me, in 1980. We urge the repeal of federal campaign finance laws. We favor the abolition of Medicare and Medicaid. We oppose any compulsory insurance, which includes financing abortion services. We favor deregulation of the medical insurance industry. We favor repeal of the Social Security system. We propose the abolition of the governmental post office. I'm reading from their party platform, 1980, David Koch, running for Vice President of the United States. We oppose all personal and corporate income tax, including capital gains taxes. We support the eventual repeal of all taxation. All criminal and civil sanctions against tax evasion should be terminated immediately. We support repeal of the minimum wage. We advocate a complete separation of education and state. Government schools lead to indoctrination. We support the abolition of the Environmental Protection Agency. We support the abolition of the Department of Energy. We call for the dissolution of the Department of Transportation. We demand a return of America's railroad system to private ownership. Privatize Amtrak. It just goes on and on. I mean, it's breathtaking. Anyhow, Nancy Pelosi has called on John Conyers to resign. That's noteworthy. Even more noteworthy is that now Jim Clyburn, the highest-ranking African-American Democrat in Congress, has asked John Conyers to resign. John Conyers is in the hospital right now. What that tells me is that John Conyers still is able to feel shame, whereas Donald Trump and Roy Moore are not. I don't know how you could come up with any other conclusion than that. John McCain has just announced that he's going to end treatment for Medicare patients for cancer. He's got his own cancer treatments. After all, his wife is a multi-millionaire. She's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, big brewing family. He married big money. And, so he doesn't have to worry. He's getting his chemo. He's getting his radiation for his brain cancer. But, if you're on Medicare, get ready to lose yours. It's amazing. Anyhow, let's pick up some phone calls here. Dylan in Kingston, Washington. Hey, Dylan, what's on your mind today?
Hi, Tom. Love your show.
Thank you, Dylan.
So, basically, I have a few points that I wanted to touch on. One's a statement, and then it's absolutely laughable that these modern Republicans can even call themselves that, even identify with that, because they're so phony.
It is not the party that my dad was a member of his whole life. It absolutely is not.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. It's just crazy how immature they are.
Yep. So that was your point, Dylan?
One is, it's like there's an Outer Limits episode where Chinese communist high-ranking official infiltrates U.S. politics and they replace the president. You seen that?
I haven't, but that premise has been played out. The Manchurian Candidate was an entire novel and movie made about that.
Right.
Yeah. Only in that case, I think it was a Soviet.
The president the infiltrator with a serum that makes his face more malleable, and they make it look just like the U.S. president's face, and he's able to play it off, being an inside man for the Chinese Communist Party. But
well, right now, I mean,
point,
there's still a debate about whether Trump is the stand-in or the cutout for the Russians or for Putin or whatever. I'm still waiting for any solid evidence of that. And there's a lot of circumstantial evidence, and it's building, and I'm guessing probably some solid evidence will come out of Mueller's investigation. But the one thing we know for a fact right now is that Donald Trump is a billionaire and is he doesn't even have to be a tool of the billionaire class. I think you could say that, multimillionaires, like the Republican members of Congress or the lobbyists on K Street, Grover Norquist, he's a multimillionaire K Street lobbyist. They're the shills and the tools for the billionaire class. But Donald Trump just cuts the middleman out. He's the billionaire himself acting on behalf of the billionaire class. And Dylan, thanks for your point, well made. And on top of that, Donald Trump then goes on television and lies through his teeth and says this tax bill is going to hurt me. It's not going to hurt Donald Trump. It's going to help his family to the tune of billions of dollars if he really is as rich as he says he is. And also, we know that in 2005, the 1 year that we have a tax return for on him, the only tax he paid of any consequence was about $25 million in alternative minimum taxes. Well, what does the tax bill do that the Republicans are pushing? It does away with the alternative minimum tax. So rich people don't get stuck with a tax bill if they're able to manipulate all the loopholes. And all the loopholes are still intact. In fact, they're adding new loopholes for corporations. It's amazing. Al in Buffalo, New York. Hey, Al, what's up?
Yep, you're right. Tom, this should make everybody's blood boil. I mean, you remember Mitt Romney, getting a $76,000 tax deduction for his dancing horse, right?
Yep.
And his offshore accounts, the trust funds that they put overseas. Then there's the classic income modification. Where smaller income means deferred compensation. As they take the stock option path.
Right.
Like the dividends, where they, then they offset their fund time expenses and tax deferral, where they max out their 401k. There's 74,000 pages in our tax code, and it's all filled with loopholes and tax giveaways. I don't understand how people can't see that this guy is nothing but a permatan plutocrat.
Permatan plutocrat, I love it.
He's a permatan plutocrat. If there's any point we need right now, call him a permatan plutocrat, because that's exactly what he is.
Well, it's a little polysyllabic, but he is a convicted fraudster. He has been convicted of fraud in Trump University, and he is a self-proclaimed sexual assaulter, I guess, for lack of a better word. Apparently a permatan plutocrat. I love it. Al, thank you for that. Gary in Kingmont, West Virginia. Hey, Gary, what's up?
Hi, Tom. Thank you. We can turn America around. The Democrats must try to find, if they can, this is a good moment. Find a candidate who had the caliber, the integrity, and the statesmanship, basically like Ed Muskie did. And that's why I called, because you brought out Eisenhower. And I suggest, if I may, I'd like to offer another huge moment in America that's been forgotten. It's 1970, a speech that is so timely then and even more timely now. It came from Kennebuck. It wasn't from Kennebuck, Port, Maine, where he lived. He couldn't make it from there. He had to make it from Port Elizabeth, Maine, one night. It was a fireside type chat.
Gary, who's he? Oh, is this FDR?
Ed Muskie.
Oh, Ed Muskie. Okay.
There was that. You remember that 1970 speech? I just hope and pray. I'm going to say a prayer. Don't get me wrong. That you play part of his speech.
Yeah, I don't have it, so I can't play it.
1970, asking for a new political. I'm sorry to raise my voice. Asking for a new political tone. It was a magnificent speech.
Right.
It's worth thinking about today. It's worth thinking about yesterday and more even today.
Yeah.
It was a call for calmness, for stability. And before I go, I appreciate you having me on. He said this toward the end of his remarks: "We cannot realize," and I quote Ed Muskie, my political hero, We cannot realize our sense of possibility if we are afraid or we are consume our energies in hostility and accusation. That's what's happening today.
Yeah.
So if you get a chance, his 1970 speech, it was breathtaking.
Yeah.
To me, it was. Obviously, he's my hero, along with FDR, but Ed Muskie was the man I really, really admired. I learned a lot just from listening to him.
Yeah.
That speech was just so timely.
Okay. Well, I made a note of it, Gary. I will see if I can track it down after we get off the air.
Great.
And
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. We'll see what happens with that. I appreciate the call. Ed Muskie is not the only politician who has spent much of his political life trying to do good. Ed Muskie's no longer with us, but trying to do good and move the political dialogue forward in the face of typically the Republican Party that is bought out by big corporations and billionaires. It's incredible.